Hey folks, we're back. That's right, a second season of the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show after every green and white game. Join me along with my co-host Kyrie Zaber, the former NFLer and CFLer, and accomplished high school football coach Ryan Hall, as we break down each week's game for you. And new this year, we will welcome your telephone calls. So yeah, like a regular call-in show, call in, we'll chop it up with you. Can't wait to have another fun season. It's the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show. And welcome to another Our Balls Are Bigger post-game show. The Saskatchewan Roughriders improved to 5-1 with a 33-27 victory over the BC Lions. The Lions fall to 3-4. A highly enjoyable football game, and I'm pleased to be joined by the Angry Bird, Kai Bear, for the first time this year. Welcome to the show, man. I thought you were dead. Are you okay?
Man, I will not be kept down. I have been pinned down, but I am not held down. I am rising like a phoenix. But
Okay.
I'm okay.
So you were supposed to be on a couple of weeks ago, and then like a tornado hit and everything like that. It's been kind of a
Yeah.
wild time for you, not only work-wise, but weather-wise too.
Yeah, we've had April and May, we had the largest rainfall in like history of Oklahoma. So it wasn't like this is actually a one-off. Like it's never been so bad. We had more rain in April than the entire last year combined.
Wow.
So, and we're in
Great.
the process of building a home,
Yeah.
and it's been a nightmare.
Well, I'm happy you're safe. I'm happy you're here. It's great to see your smiling face and to talk football. And speaking of smiling, when I'm watching that game, I'm thinking Kyrie Zaber would be smiling like a butcher's dog, because that was an exciting game, and that was a physical football game. That had a little bit of everything you wanted. It was high scoring, but there was some good defensive plays too. And like I said, really a lot of
Very good.
physicality in that game.
Yeah, and I enjoy the big hits, and some some good tackles were made tonight, um, on both sides. But the thing that was most impressive was don't let the score fool you. The game was not that close, right? So what you saw when you start seeing more points scored in the second half by BC, it wasn't that they had figured out what it was going to take to win that game. They just took advantage of Saskatchewan kind of taking their foot off the gas, being more conservative in their defensive calls, and just making short tackles and trying not to make bonehead mistakes, no penalties, no holdings, no pass interferences, those type of things that could actually give the Lions an opportunity to come back.
Let's talk about your buddy, old teammate, Trevor Harris. Um, Trevor Harris completed 70% of his passes for the ninth straight game, which is a CFL record. He beat the BC Lions for the 10th time in his career. He's 10-3. And last week, the Calgary Stampeders showed you the recipe to beat Trevor Harris. You limit the run game, and you collapse the interior of that pocket, because, as I joke, he has all the mobility of a light post. But if he can stand in that pocket, he is virtually unbeatable, and that's what we saw today.
Yeah, he's Mr. Consistent. He's been doing this for, has it been a decade now, right? So it's nothing new for him to come out and put on the show the way that he did tonight. Nathan Rourke, hell of a game by him. Always shows flashes of brilliance and his excellence. I love watching that kid play. But Trevor Harris is still king of the hill. He still has it, and we kind of had that conversation at the end of last year. We were talking at Grey Cup, and I felt like we'll see more Trevor Harris this year, and we'll see him better than ever. And sure enough, He's doing his thing.
Well, he and I are friends, but we're kind of at a little bit of odds because I had said in the off season that All-Star, played 11 games, but hasn't played a full season in 10 years, hasn't dressed for a full season. So the Riders, because of his age, need to start looking for the next guy. So I said maybe get him on a team-friendly deal and look for a guy like a Jake Mayer or a Trey Ford to come in and maybe bring him along. But he's ramming it up my ass. Like he's playing some great football. But great athletes like yourself, like him, you use that fuel sometimes. Sometimes you need that
Absolutely.
fuel, right?
Absolutely, and I think he's one of those guys that's self-driven. He takes pride in his craft. He works at it every year like it's the last. Every year like he needs it, like he needs to breathe. That's the kind of competitor that he is. And, you bring on a young guy, as you mentioned, the Fords of the world and whoever else may be out there. It's football. It's people are going to get hurt. No one's guaranteed. He's
Hmm.
to play the full season. What you want to do is find a guy that you can trust to get you to the postseason and that can deliver when it matters most. And I think that the fact that he has not been able to do that as the leader of a team, win the Grey Cup, I think he has one on his resume, but not as a starter. I think that is something that you can count on him working for, and knowing that he has the tools and abilities to do it, and he's played in enough big games to where you can trust him. I don't know we'd be able to say the same about a young guy we bring in and try to mold into the quarterback that you want for the future. Then
Yeah,
we give up the right now.
so Kai, it's funny. During the bye week, my kid came home, okay, and I decided to go for a jog with him, a professional football player, and my daughter,
Yeah.
who works out 2-3 times a day. Okay, so I'm a 52-year-old man. I went for a jog. It took me 3 days for my legs to recover. Okay,
Yeah.
2 kilometers.
It's it's not your age. There's nothing wrong with being 52. It's your body.
Yeah, okay, but here's where I'm going with this, okay? So
Where are
help
you
me.
going?
Well, here's where I'm going with this. I look at Trevor Harris. That guy got walloped a couple of times in this football game.
He did.
I was at the game yesterday in Winnipeg. Zach Collaros took one right in the ribs, bounced his head off the turf. He's 37. You look at Stanley Bryan at 39, Jamarcus Hardrick at 35. And where I'm
Yeah.
going with this is I jog 2 kilometers in my neighborhood, and I'm sore, and I just have
Yeah.
so much respect for those dudes that lace them up and play like that for not life-changing money. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, it's career. It's your career. It's
Yeah.
paying the mortgage, and
Yeah.
it allows you to. I mean, if I didn't have the CFL for the 10 years plus, I mean, my 401k is pretty nice. Canada did pretty good by me, but it's man, you're doing it for the passion, you're doing it for the love, you're doing it for the right reasons, and I mean, you're not chewing. What's the old saying? You're not gnawing on cornbread,
Yeah.
right? They're making a lot more than your average Joe,
Hmm.
especially at the quarterback position, at the left tackle position. Like they're doing okay, they're eating.
Yeah. But
So
talk but talk about their age and like those guys. I have a lot of respect for guys that still lace them up
Well,
and play
and
like
and
that,
that's
right?
and that's what I played with Milt Stegall whenever he was the oldest receiver in the CFL, but he was also probably one of the most effective,
Hmm.
a guy that you can trust. Once you kind of get up there, and I think I had the best year of my career at 36.
Hmm.
When you get older, you're a step ahead of everyone just by knowledge and information. You're processing things faster. So even if your footwork's a step slower, but the fact that you thought of it a second faster, you can still get to the same place at the same time as someone who's thinking a little slower and moving a lot faster. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. Jamie sends in a message on Facebook. I was thinking exactly what Kyrie's was thinking. If Saskatchewan kept flooring it, it would have been a runaway instead of a close game, 33-27 for the Rough Riders. Okay, we're going to take a break here, our first sponsor break. We're taking phone calls this year, Kyrie, so we got some callers lined up here, so that'll be good. They could pick your brain. It's
Let's do it.
It's the Angry Bird, Kaye Bear, and Ballsy. This is the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show. The Italian Star Deli, providing Regina and area with quality specialty products since 1966. When you visit the Italian Star Deli, you're truly part of the family. So drop by anytime and they'll help you find whatever your heart and palate may desire. Whether you're looking for olive oil, specialty meats and cheeses, pasta, sea salt, vinegar, canned tomatoes, or one of their mouth-watering famous sandwiches, you're sure to find it and so much more at the Italian Star Deli, 1631 Victoria Avenue, Regina. Yeah, no, thanks for checking us out. Thanks to Leanne, our producer off camera here, for being involved behind the scenes. Thanks to Owen for watching, saying this is the best CFL show. It's because I got the best co-hosts like Ryan Hall the previous number of weeks, and now Kai Bear, former CFL and NFL. And there's something I want to pick his brain about. Before I get to our first caller of the day, Kai, we have the Italian Star Deli takeout of the game, and I think when I saw it happen, it's football, man. I saw it happen. It was Micah Alway, who's an absolute torpedo. He comes in angry bird-like. He smoked Kadeem Carey, obviously an unfortunate look like knee injury, but that was a hellacious hit. That was physical football. That's our takeout of the game. Your thoughts on that play?
Yeah, you hate to see someone get hurt. You want to see football played at the highest level, at the fastest and the toughest. And in order to get that, injury is going to be a part of the deal. And you kind of sign up for it, but you just hate to see it because good guys get taken away, and the game get taken away from them for hopefully temporarily.
Yeah.
But it's just very unfortunate. But hell of a hit, hell of a tackle, hell of a
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a man. He hit like a grown man on that play.
You know, I wonder this. This guy is a great linebacker. Like, he is a great linebacker, but he never seems to stay on one team for very long. It's almost like he's the guy they're always trying to replace for a cheaper American, I guess, maybe. I don't know why he doesn't stay on a team that long.
It's a good question. I mean, a lot of times it does come down to contract ratio. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of things can factor in, right? Your value, if you can get something back in the trade,
Mm.
or maybe you fit better with certain defenses, certain maybe he hasn't found his home yet.
Yeah.
I think my best years were with Noel Thorpe. I
Yeah.
think he kind of figured out how to maximize what I can do on the field. I had some good runs with Greg Marshall in Ottawa and Winnipeg,
Mm.
and both of them used me very differently. And Greg Marshall wanted me to play linebacker earlier in my career, and I was just completely against it. I was an all-star at safety. I felt
Yeah.
like that's where I belong. But once I got with Noel Thorpe and he was able to play me at Mike, Will, defensive end, and safety, like it opened up my game. So I
Yeah.
think that may just be his thing. We got to find that perfect defense for him that he's just going to be able to maximize his potential.
Okay, let's go to the phones here, and we'll just punch it up here. And I'm not sure who's calling us, but let's see. Hi, who's this?
Hey, Ballsy, this is John.
John, the Habs fan. John Schmidt, how are you, buddy?
Not too bad. How are you, buddy?
Good. Hey, Kai Bear would probably have gone to a Montreal Canadian game or two. Did you, Kai? This guy, John.
Absolutely, go Habs, go! Absolutely.
You bet you, Kyrie.
Uh,
2 years' time, they're going to.
Oh, you broke up there. What'd you say, John?
I said in 2 years' time, they're going to be the team to beat in the NHL.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to dispute that. What'd you think of the game? What'd you think of the game tonight, John?
Oh, it was good. You know, Ballsy, when Trevor Harris plays like this, like you guys said, he's unbeatable. I mean, man, we haven't had good quarterbacking like this since Darian and before with Kent Austin.
Yeah, I think the recipe, Kyrie, and I'll let you weigh in. John, just stay here. We can stay in the conversation. Last week, the Riders, they were behind. Calgary dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides. So Trevor Harris had to throw 44 times. Even though he's a good athlete, and I marveled that he's 39 and can do this, you don't want your 39-year-old quarterback throwing it 44 times. The key in this game today, Kyrie, was the fact that the Riders were able to run the football and establish that ground game.
Yeah, and that's something that is going to always keep him upright, right? If you can keep the defense honest and don't allow them to send one extra man that's going to make the ball have to come out quicker, he's going to be unbeatable. And like you said, that's what we saw last week. And biggest difference to this week is that we had balance, but he's surgical. He makes it look easy.
Yeah, he absolutely does. John, anything else about the game you like besides the play of the quarterback?
Yeah, Dante Myers. I think he's the most underrated receiver on the team. I think if he finds some consistency and they can use him, he could be one of the top 2 or 3 receivers in the league. I think he's our best personally.
That's a good call, man. I do appreciate the call, John. Thanks for listening, watching, and calling in. Make sure you do it all season, okay?
I will do, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it, bud. Hey,
Later, John.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, talk to me. By the way, the phone number to call 306-992-6955 with myself and Kai Bear, the Angry Bird, former NFL, CFL defender. So, how would you defend Trevor Harris? Like I said, Calgary had the recipe knocking him off his spot, but if you can't get to him, BC couldn't get to him. How do you defend Trevor Harris?
I mean, that is it. There's not. When you get to guys like that, it's not like there's a plethora of ways to attack him.
Mm-hmm.
There's one way to do it. You got to get him off his spot. You can't let him get comfortable and sit back there and bake a pizza, because if you let him sit back there in the pocket, and he's just going to pick you apart.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get him off his spot. You have to get the ball out of his hand. His strengths are he's cerebral. His arm strength seems to have not diminished at all, but you have to attack his weakness, and that's going to be his mobility at the age of 39. You got to get him moving and get the ball out of his hand quick.
You know, he is the all-time leader along with Cody Fajardo in terms of accuracy in CFL history. I am not gonna lie to you. I've said, okay, I don't know how good he is as a long ball thrower anymore, and I had said that, you know, up until this game. But boy,
Yeah.
he sure showed it today.
He
He dropped some bombs for sure, man. In fact, talking about being 39 years old, we had the takeout of the game, and this was before Alway destroyed Carey. I had Tuahema coming off the edge, and he hit Harris, and Harris hung in there to the last second, couldn't complete his throwing motion, but got it down to Robustelli down the right sideline by the BC bench. Once again, 39-year-old Graybeard standing in there taking a shot like that too. That obviously is a teammate on the sideline seeing that. How much does that pump up the bench?
Oh man, it gives you a tremendous respect for your teammate, because you know he's not standing in there because he wants to feel good. He's standing in there for the team, right? He's doing it for you. That wasn't about his stat line. If he had the choice to have an incompletion and untouched, or get beat to the ground and get a completion, he would, for himself and his health, he would have went the other way.
Yeah.
But for team, he stood in there and he made the play. He delivered, but he did not forget it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember in the fourth quarter, we had a free guy coming, and he got to chucking and ducking.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
Away.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He remembered what it felt like earlier in the game.
Yeah.
He wanted to get that ball out of his hand.
Yeah, self-preservation. Hey, back to the hit. This is something, because you've been on the end of delivering hits and maybe taking one and getting up, okay? Because it's you give some, you take some. But I've always marveled at this, okay? And just the demeanor you got to have playing football. So Alway comes in there. He's a heat-seeking missile. We've seen it 3 times this year. And on that particular play, he smokes Carey. His helmet goes flying off. He's flexing. He's all jacked up. And then they go to break, and he comes back, and everybody's on a knee, and Alway's on a knee. Just talk about that mentality, going from killer to going to a fellow brother on the field, not wanting to really. You want to inflict pain, but you don't want to really hurt somebody. Right. Talk about that.
You know, that's actually was part of my prayer, that I would hit people and earn respect, and no one would be hurt. I would literally pray about that when I would go out there. I would want to make noise. I wanted to be destructive. I wanted to be respected and feared to a certain degree, but never at the cost of hurting someone. You don't want to see that. And in a moment, you're excited. You know, you made a big play. The world is watching. At least the CFL world is watching. And you feel good about yourself, and you're pumped. And it's not about the person who's on the ground at that moment. You're just proud of what it is that you just did to help your team get one step closer to victory and impact the game in a positive way where momentum can shift after a big hit like that. So all these emotions are going through your head, and as you come back to earth, you kind of realize, okay, this is reality, and there's still someone on the ground right now. Let's put main things, make the first things most important, and that's going to be everybody getting out of there in one piece.
I wonder how a guy like you feels. I'd like to get your take on this. So Baldonado, the global guy, 95 of the Riders, he's coming over to make a tackle on Rourke, and Rourke slides at the last second, and he hits him as they both go to the ground, and it's a 15-yard penalty. In the rules, it's a penalty, but that's that's ticky tacky. That is
Well, it's
so.
not as the game's not as soft as it could be. It's trending towards it, but man, I've had that penalty a few times myself. The answer is stay the hell up.
Yeah.
If it's close, you can't leave it to the refs to make that decision. And you don't see often where a quarterback's going to do a fake slide, right? Kenny Pickett did it at Pittsburgh. That was
Did
maybe
you ever
5 years ago.
did you ever have that though? Because I've seen it before where guys didn't slide and then they're getting probably bitched out by their coach. So it's like,
Right,
okay, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
right. And I smoked Cody Fajardo once. I think I got suspended for that. Or I for sure got fined. And earlier in the game, he saw a defensive back on the sideline and he ran him over. He dipped his shoulder and ran him over.
Hmm.
So now he's getting the sideline again. I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's do me the way that you did that last guy, because I want all that smoke. I was signed up for it. And I launched myself as I've did many times before, like a torpedo. And
Uh-huh.
I couldn't believe that I got flagged and I got fined, and I just wanted to fight everybody. But those were the good old days.
That is.
Oh, the good old days. But yeah, at the end of it all, like you have to err on the side of caution. More safety of he didn't hurt anyone. I don't think there was any malice in that play. But for the sake of the team, those 15 yards, that costs. If
Yeah.
you look at the statistics on how many drives end in scores when there's a 15-yard penalty involved in that drive, the
Mm.
percentage goes up. You have a much greater chance of scoring on a drive with a 15-yard penalty involved.
One of the young Canadian guys I like watching plays in his first year starting, second year on the team for the BC Lions is 29, Christophe Beaulieu, the former Laval player who is playing free safety for the BC Lions. He had a nice knockdown in the end zone. But what I like about it is he's trying to make an impression. They say the eye in the sky never lies. The film doesn't lie. And it obviously didn't affect the outcome of the game, but it could have maybe down the line. I kind of made a note of it. Sam Emilus makes a catch and weaves away, and Beaulieu doesn't give up on the play and tackles him at the 10-yard line, and the Riders had to settle for a field goal instead of a touchdown. As a teammate, you like to see that, and as a coach, you like to see your guy not giving up on a play like that.
Yeah, those plays are noticeable. I had a similar play when I was playing with the Bengals. Guy named Peyton Manning threw a quick slant to a guy named Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a slant, it was a dart. It's like you could come off the line and just dart inside. And I was in cover two. I was a cover two safety. And the long and the short is I ran Marvin Harrison down probably 70 yards and made the tackle. Right?
Yeah.
Got good pictures of it on the internet. You can Google it, whatever.
Okay, I'll check that out, yeah.
But what you don't see is I took a shitty angle in the first place. And if I just took the right angle, I'd make the tackle at 12 yards instead of 70 yards down the field. So that's one of those things you got to look back and say, okay, how did we get here?
And
Great
you raise a good point, because he was actually in coverage, and had he took a better angle, he maybe doesn't have to make the tackle, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So, that's one of the deals where good is the enemy of great, right? You can't be satisfied with good. One of my first I had a sack versus the Green Bay Packers in a preseason game, and man, I tell you what, I so excited, and I get to the sideline and my coach slapped my helmet, and I thought he was like, it was a good slap. It was a bad slap. It was, why the hell did you not get that ball out? He did not see you. Right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Sack is cool.
Yeah.
First sack, I was stoked.
Yeah.
But no, there was much more to be done.
Never get too high, never get too low. Time now for another sponsor break, and we'll be back with another feature here in a moment on the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show. Ward Tirecraft Regina, proud to be the last of the small town style tire and automotive shops in the city, prioritizing the happiness of their customers and the safety of their vehicles. They've had some of the same customers for over 40 years, including yours truly, which is why I asked them to come on board as a sponsor for my shows. For all your tire and mechanical needs, go see Michael Barth and his crew at 101 Dudney Avenue. Tell them Ballsy sent you, and you get 10% off. Well, the drive of the game for Ward Tirecraft, there was a couple of good drives. Riders opened with a nice drive, the deep pass to Dante Myers. I like the one, I think it was the second touchdown pass of the game to Dante Myers, Kai. So it's the old 2-for-1 in football. The Riders won the toss, they deferred, so they got the ball to start the second half, but at the end of the first half, they got a field goal to make it 23-11 when it was 20-11. Then they come out and score a touchdown, so they have an automatic, well, not automatic, but you know what I mean, 10 points just like that to separate. That really was the drive of the game and swung it, gave them a nice, comfortable lead that they'd never relinquish.
Yeah, and I mean, the route on that play was amazing. DeSell, it was looked like a slant and go.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, caught the defensive back slipping. He was active. He was ready to come downhill. Something that they've studied all week. They knew that they had a DB who was going to be aggressive on the slant route, and it was the perfect timing. Didn't see it coming, and here it is, showtime.
Yeah, and talk about that because last week I was critical of Mark Mueller, who I think can be a head coach in this league, the offensive coordinator for the Rough Riders, Ron Lancaster's grandson. And I'll admit, a friend of mine, but I was like, hey, I didn't really like you. Had two American running backs last week against Calgary, one in Kadeem Carey. You ran the ball like 7 times, and I wanted to see more commitment to the run. They did that. They mixed the play calling up, but I like that there. Harris was slant, intermediate plays, and then the slant and go. That was a great, I don't know if that was a Harris thing in the huddle or a call by Mueller, but that was just a great play.
Yeah, if I had to bet, I would say they collabed on that. They, you prep for that all week long. Okay, we want to catch them. We want to get them on the road, have them. Get them lull them to sleep, and then boom, you want to come back with that. But football is so situational, right? Everything has to line up perfectly for things to work.
Yeah.
All 12 men on the field, right?
Yeah.
What time in the game is it?
Yeah.
What yard line are you on?
Mm-hmm.
What side of the field is it on? Because am I more comfortable with the pump here? Can I sell it better to my right, or can I sell it better to my left, right? So which hash mark you're on, what coverage is the defense in, right? So everything has to work out, and that's, man, such a tremendous amount of respect I have for offensive coordinators to keep their fingers on the pulse of the game and paying attention to all those little things that it takes for the perfect play to be thrown at the perfect time.
Here was one thing I was wondering about, and they never did do it, speaking of offensive coordinators, and I don't know, like, I'll ask you this. How do you feel about, and now in the CFL, we're a little more challenged because of the ridiculous coaching cap that they've had. We've talked about that for a while, which, by the way, is Riders team president Craig Reynolds' fault, in my opinion, because he let Chris Jones spend like a drunken sailor when he was here, and then the league clamped down, and so now there's the coaching cap. But where I'm going with this is Buck Pierce is the OC and the head coach. Corey Mace is the DC and the head coach. How do you feel about guys being coordinators and head coaches?
It's a lot to take on. It's quite impressive, but you have to know your personnel and know yourself.
Yeah.
Right? If you're one of those guys that can't let go and you just don't trust, at the end of the day, your coordinators don't deliver, and you're not producing the defense that needs to be produced on the field, you're not winning, well, guess who's losing their job?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Head Coach is going and they're cleaning house. So if you know that, hey, my strong suit is this, and our team's better suited if I run that part of it and still be the boss of it all, then you do it. You do what you have to do to give your team the best chance for success. And same in business, right? Like I have a business here.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to hire a whole bunch of great salespeople, but as of now, I don't know anybody better than myself. So I'm gonna do the work.
Bet on yourself. So, because
Yeah.
here's where I'm going with this. I was set like a slant, and go. I was setting this question up. Okay, so Tavon Campbell picks off a pass and goes for a touchdown. Would have been his second pick six, but
Yeah.
Baldonado was offside. So Tavon Campbell's got to come all the way back, and after running a pick six 40 yards, he's gassed. He's got to come back. I was shocked the Lions didn't go after him there. You know what I mean? There's a little strategic play, right?
You got to.
Yeah, so my thing is, you got a head coach that is also the OC, like maybe if you have another coach helping you out, I don't know. I'm just thinking, okay, is the guy biting off more than he can chew? You know what I mean?
No. Let's take it a step further. So the defensive coordinator, he gets paid too.
Yeah.
Right? And a damn good one at that.
Yeah.
Right? We just spoke about dual roles. So that's the head coach's job, defensive coordinator. Do you think that only you and your big old balls knew that he was tired? Or maybe his defense coordinator knew he was tired and put him in the defense where he wasn't going to have to be responsible for the deep ball.
Maybe. You're right. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good point. That's right. Although I like to think I'm always the smartest guy, Kai. hey, we're gonna take
maybe not the only smart guy.
Okay, that's probably it. We're gonna take a break. Be back with another sponsor break here and another feature here in the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show. Payson Insurance specializes in helping hard-to-insure people get coverage. They also offer a range of financial management and investment services to help secure your future. People care most about their money and their family. I personally trust Kevin. Best way to describe dealing with him are the 3 C's. He's comfortable to deal with, he cares about your future, and he's confident in helping you make the right financial decisions. Payson Insurance. Give them a call, 306-596-0244. Ballsy here along with Kai Bear, former great NFL and CFL defender, the Angry Bird as we affectionately call him, joining us from Oklahoma. Before we get to another call here, Kai, Payson Financial Insurance with the On the Money segment. Now, listen. That'd be our pass of the game. So there were a lot of great passes. Nathan Rourke had a couple where he spun out 2-point convert, the first touchdown pass to Eberhardt, like keeping the play alive. Tremendous quarterback. Love to see it. We need great quarterback play in this league, like VA last night in Winnipeg. Trevor Harris, the Robustelli pass I talked about, the slant and go, which we already talked about, the deep pass that Beaulieu and the other BC defender with the MLS. That was a great ball by Trevor Harris. But the one I actually liked on the money, I think it was, they were going left to right on the TV screen. It was a pass on the right hash to 18 Busby, Del Duncan Busby. And the guy was draped, I think it was Beaulieu in 29, draped all over Busby. And Harris just put that one right on the screws, as they like to say. That was my pass of the game. I like that one.
That was a good pass. But surprisingly, you did not mention Nathan Rourke's touchdown prior to the 2-point conversion. That was touch that he put on that ball to go right over the defender's head and right at he was right on the end line.
Yeah,
like that was 1 foot from being out of bounds. So the ball placement, the height, the trajectory to drop that in for a touchdown in a crucial moment in the game in the fourth quarter. That was an impressive pass.
See, he's right. Look at him. He's right. He wants to be right. Hey, but it's
we can both be right. Hey, you saw an amazing pass. I saw an amazing pass.
I love it. We're great. Hey, we're great teammates. So, but you lead me into this because I had it written down right here. So, 25, Nelson Lacombo, high draft pick of the Riders a couple of years ago. He was a boundary halfback in U Sports at the U of S. Came as a field side corner when he first got here, and they moved him to safety, okay? Talk about that play. How would you – because I want to talk about – he seems like he lacks a little confidence. He seems a little out of sorts there to me. So on that play, tell me about that play. Should he have kept running like he tried to jump? Just talk about that play.
Yeah, I mean, he mistimed that. He panicked. You can't sweat it. You gotta, if you run to your point, if you trust what you're doing, That pass could only be completed in one place,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was there. Had he just run to that point and run through the play, he's running through the ball, and that ball's not completed with one or any feet inbounds. He breaks that play up, but he slows down. He tries to miss, or maybe he was overconfident. Maybe he thought he could jump a lot higher than he really could.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. So
but
and not
the
necessarily
right thing to do was to stay on the ground, and keep going. It
yeah,
wasn't time for
and
that.
use the sideline as the 13th man, right? Use that end
That's
zone
right.
as the 13th man.
Absolutely.
So, but let me take me inside an athlete. We talked about always playing with confidence. When I don't imagine you ever lacked confidence, at least outwardly, but how do you get confidence? Like what do you do to get confidence if you're, because at some point every athlete's lacking confidence, questioning themselves whether they want to admit it or not. How do you get that confidence?
Great preparation.
Okay. Simple.
When you're prepared, you can show up and show out. If
Okay.
you're not prepared, and that's physically, mentally, emotionally, be prepared. Prepare yourself for your moment
Good
because the
point.
moment's coming,
Good,
right?
good point, man. Very good
Preparation.
point. Okay, we got a phone call. Let's get out on the phone and talk to Brad. Brad is there. Hi, Brad. How are you?
I'm great. How is it going, Michael?
Good, Brad. So, what'd you think of the game?
Oh, great response from last week. I love the way we came out and responded. You know, we held BC in the first quarter there, no kicks, well, no punts, as you say. BC got the ball. We shut them down, and we came out with Dante Mar's first touchdown of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good start. You got to start on the road. And I was going to ask Kyrie this, so let's go with what Brad said here. The BC Lions, I wrote it down. It came in -10 in the turnover, giveaway takeaway category, and it didn't get any better tonight with 3. And then they had -41 Kai in the point differential in the first quarter. What do those stats tell you, especially starting slow like that repeatedly?
I think it speaks to their record. They're a mediocre team right now. They're
Yeah.
under 500 because they're not playing full games. They're not completing. They're not starting fast, and they're trying to play catch up the whole time. And it affects the play calling. It affects the quarterback. It's going to affect the running back. Everybody's affected by this slow start. You got to find a way to get yourself going to give yourself a chance because when you're playing catch up the whole game, you're really not playing a fair game.
How much is that
It's just not fair.
How much is that on a rookie quarterback or coach? Pardon me, though. Like in Buck Pierce, learning the ropes himself as a coach.
Well, you hate to hang it all on one person's head, right? You don't want to put it all on one guy, but it is something that has to be figured out from the top
Yeah,
because that's kind of how it goes.
yeah. Anything else, Brad? What else did you like about the game?
I'd like to ask Harry a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you guys, well, what Michael just asked you a few minutes ago about confidence and stuff, would you agree with me 100% if you're a wide receiver or a DB or a running back, a big play would bring up your confidence 100%?
100%, absolutely. But the thing about defensive backs, you have to have a short-term memory because you can have 10 pass breakups and you give up the game-winning touchdown. Nobody's talking about that pass breakup, right? So you can get
It's all
excited, but again,
before and
never
everything,
too
right?
high.
Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
It's not what you did before, it's what you do after. You know, it could be
Exactly.
on defense, it could be a big tackle, it could be a big sack, or a game-winning drive passed by the quarterback or your offensive line protecting you like BC did tonight. And we only got the one sack on BC. But the one thing I noticed the Riders have to do better in the last 2 games that we played. We have to contain Rourke better and Vernon Adams. We cannot let them get out of the pocket and scramble because that's what hurts us.
Yeah, Brad, thanks for that call, man. I appreciate it. That's perfect that you teed it up. I thank you for watching and listening to this show. So he raised a good point because I had this written down too. Thanks, Brad. How do you
All right, big guy.
take care, man? How do you control, what would you do to you got to break down when like Nathan Rourke scrambling, moving around, Vernon Adams Jr. Just talk about defending those type of quarterbacks.
Man, those are every defender's nightmare because you can have every guy on the field do their jobs, but you can't ask them to do their jobs for 12 seconds or
Yeah,
for
yeah,
10 seconds
yeah,
for the amount of time that they can extend a
y-
play, right?
yeah.
Like, in all fairness, if you have a free man on a +1 blitz, that's where you bring one more than what the offense can block.
Mm.
The ball should be out of their hands in less than 2 seconds. And with these guys, if they can make that first guy miss, that extra guy, that +1 guy miss, now you're asking that guy in the back end who was expecting to cover less than 2 seconds to be prepared to cover 4 seconds. You're asking him for any route, telling him that, hey, he has less than 2 seconds to throw the ball. I'm going to bet that none of their receivers are going to get past 15 yards in 2 seconds. So you can plant your feet and be ready to break. To now, oh shit,
Hmm.
they got past 15 yards. It is no longer 2 seconds. It is time to get on your horse. So that it just makes life so hard for the defensive backs, even and also your rush, your D lineman. Like, you're asking them to everybody commit to a job and to commit to a lane, and everybody does exactly what they're supposed to do, and that +1 guy gets off, and these other guys are tied up because they're where they're supposed to be. It's hell, man. They're
Yeah,
they're the worst ones to play against until you play against some Trevor Harris, and now he sits back there and bakes a pizza on you and goes
yeah,
70, 80%
yeah.
passing for the game. Yeah, that's no fun either.
That is no fun. All right, we're going to take another sponsor break and get to our JLB Electric play of the game, lit play of the game, and get some closing thoughts from Kai Bear. Rough Riders win 33-27. At JLB Electric, their mission is to provide top quality residential and commercial electrical services in Regina and surrounding area. They're committed to delivering efficient, reliable, and affordable electrical solutions, including new construction wiring, renovations, service upgrades, and 24-hour emergency assistance. Their team of licensed electricians ensures exceptional service from start to finish. They prioritize safety, customer satisfaction, and expert workmanship. As Regina's trusted one-stop shop for electrical contracting, they are dedicated to powering our community with excellence. All right, welcome back. However you're taking in this show, the Our Balls Are Bigger post-game show, I appreciate it, either live or later in podcast form or in replay form. We do appreciate it. Find us on X, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I'm Ballsy. That's Kai Bear. Okay, the lit play of the game, it would be obvious Micah Alway lighten up Carey. But I wanted to tie it into a guy that's really started to evolve. And you talked about, now he's not an old guy, but you talked about being a couple things today, Kai. Being prepared, helping you play fast and confident, and also because you've seen things, you might be a step slower physically, although I don't think this guy I'm going to mention is that way, but you think things a step ahead. And today with 5 tackles, at least last I saw, and 2 knockdowns, was A.J. Allen, the Guelph Griffin, the Canadian linebacker, playing that will linebacker spot, had a deflection that Marcus Sales picked off, and that was I think that's the second time this year. Actually, last week he had an interception on a VA pass, the first one of the game, where he leapt in the same type of situation, exact same part of the field, and picked it off. This time he deflected it. But I thought that was just because it stood out to me how he's evolved. Just talk about evolving as a defender, and maybe take how long it takes the average guy, maybe.
You know, it's not one of those things where it's uniform, where you can just say, well, yeah, this is going to work out this way because this guy is this guy and it's going to take that. No, everybody has their own progression. Like I said, my best year was at 36 years old. I had been a professional pro football player for teens of years. I think 13 or 14 years at the time. But it all comes together. It's being with the right team, being with the right coordinators, sticking with it, knowing yourself, knowing your strengths. And I mean, one thing that I've seen on my years in the CFL is if you can get yourself an amazing Canadian will linebacker, it opens up your ability to do a lot of different things with the ratio in your team.
Yeah.
So
And I find these Canadians, because A.J. Allen's a guy that's been a special teams demon for 3 years, and he's still on some special teams, but that allows you to get into the flow of it. Some of these Canadian guys take a little bit to develop. They're important to the game, the ratio, and then maybe by that 4th year, Eau Claire leaves to go to BC, a spot opens, you have a chance to step in, and he's really seized his opportunity. Special teams, though, and special teams in Canada, where it's not just a touchback, where you got to do things with the ball every time. It's so important.
yeah, and it adds value. We talked about money earlier. If you can contribute to your team on special teams as a Canadian and be an impact player on defense, man, you set yourself up for a nice little payday when it's time.
5-1 on the season. I don't know how much CFL football you've watched. Riders are 5-1. The Calgary Stampeders are 5-1. The Stampeders have had an automatic reset after 2 down years. I watched the game here last week. I was in the stands last night in Winnipeg. That offensive and defensive line are killers, and the Riders learned their lesson here in this game. They were dominant on both sides of the football.
They were. I think those are going to be the 2 teams to watch come playoffs time. These are the teams that you're going to be watching, hopefully, in the Western Conference Finals.
Hey, one more thing before I let you go, because I got into it online with some people, okay? I love my American guys like yourself. I've said this many times. The 2 best players in Rider history have statues out front, Lancaster and Reed, okay? But I had got into this online actually with Davis Sanchez, respectfully, and he answered something that I said on X with a fan. I said, in all the former players that have played in both leagues, and you'd be a perfect guy because you've played at a high level in both leagues. From the guys I've talked to and heard talk, Ocho Cinco, Ricky Williams, all these guys, from number 1 player to number 10 player on NFL rosters, those would be your best of the best. That's what I said. But from about 10, 11 to the bottom of the roster, from the guys I've talked to, haven't played in either league, it would be pretty comparable, the rosters. Would you agree with that statement, or am I way off base? Because I'm trying.
I don't know. I don't think you're way off. You may be 5 players off, but I would take those 5 players. Let's say from, what did you say, 1 to 10?
I'd say 1 to 10. There's elite on every NFL team.
I say if you go past 15.
Okay.
You go past 15 to the rest of the 53, right? You have 53-man roster.
Yeah.
If you go 15 to 53. You can take that 53 to the CFL top 5 and not miss a beat.
Yeah, because this is what I said. Here's what I always get from fans. Some fans. Well, if they were any good, they'd be in the NFL. And I'm like, well, how many jobs do you think there are in the NFL? Like, that's
Yep. There are a lot of qualified NFL players that are playing in the CFL now because of circumstance, or contract, or injury, or so many things that can come into play. I'm telling you, it was harder when I came to Canada to compete for that last American spot than it was competing for 53 American spots in the NFL.
And some of that, Kai, in fairness, has to do with the ratio. But as I walked out of Winnipeg's Princess Auto Stadium yesterday, I took a picture of it. This has always been my argument. Once again, Kai Bear. Nobody is saying that you couldn't find a bajillion Americans better than Canadian players, even though Canadian players are getting better. But when I walked out of that stadium in Winnipeg yesterday, and I said this a couple weeks ago, your top recognizable athletes in Winnipeg would be Connor Hellebuck, the goalie of the Jets. Number 2 would be Brady Oliveira, the running back for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Winnipeg kid. Number 3 would be Nick Dembski, receiver, Winnipeg Blue Bombers. By the way, both played spectacular games yesterday in the Bombers beat down when they got crushed by Calgary. Number 4 would be Mark Scheifele, the Jets forward, and number 5 would be Zach Collaros. And 2 of those guys are Canadians, and they wouldn't play because of if there was no ratio, they wouldn't play, because mostly no Canadians would play, because American coaches wouldn't play Canadian players if they didn't have to play Canadian players. Let's be fucking honest here, if I can just use my language, okay? So as I'm walking out, I'm like, there's 25 jerseys, and I saw a couple of Willie Jeffersons. I saw a couple of Zach Collaros, and the rest were Oliveira and Dembski. And I'm like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So So for you, it was probably tougher because you had to get around the Canadian ratio thing, which I think is still important to our league.
Yeah, very much so. Man, in Montreal, when they changed the ratio to put me at safety and over Etienne Boulay,
Yeah,
that blew my mind. I didn't think that would ever happen. It wasn't because I didn't think I was better, right? I
yeah,
just kind of knew what the ratio deal was, and
yeah,
that's what it is.
yeah,
But every now and then you get a guy that can break the ratio. And I don't want to speak so emphatic to say Canadians would play. There's there's um there's a few that there's exceptions to the rule, right? Remember Jesse Lump was it Lumsden?
Lumsden, yes.
Lumsden, there you go. That guy, and he
Yeah,
had a
but
shot
but
at the
yeah, you're
NFL.
right. You're right. There would be. I'm not saying there wouldn't be any, but there wouldn't be that
Right.
many. But there wouldn't be that many.
I
Like for instance, John Ryan told me that he'd never would. He went to 3 agents and they laughed at him because they said we're not going to represent anybody that will never play professional football. So a ratio got him a punting job with the Bombers, which got him a job with the Green Bay Packers, which got him a job with the Seattle Seahawks, which got him a Super Bowl, which got him millions of dollars, which he gives back to Regina. Brett Jones, Weyburn kid, Weyburn, Saskatchewan, started football at grade 11. If the Calgary Stampeders don't have to fill out the ratio component, they don't go looking for a kid from Weyburn at the U of R. He goes to Calgary. He becomes offensive lineman of the year, goes to the Giants, goes to the Broncos, goes to the Vikings, back coaching in Regina, now a doctor giving money back to his school. You know what I mean?
you're right, but I'm not going to say it. I just feel like I don't. It's inappropriate for me to say it.
Okay. Hey,
My wife's Canadian.
well, I'm Canadian, and you're a honorary Canadian. Let's put it that way.
There you go.
Anyway,
There you go.
anyway, some closing thoughts from you from this game and going forward. The Rough Riders playing the Edmonton Elkamos, as I like to call them, next week here in Regina. Edmonton coming off a bye and desperately needing a win.
Yeah, I think that Saskatchewan's is heading in the right direction. I think it's going to be a redemption year for Trevor, and I'm going to say that Sask's going to win it all.
You think so? Hey,
That's where my head's at right now.
yeah,
Bold take.
yeah.
At 5-1, I'm putting my stamp on.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for your time, man. I appreciate your candidness and being right most of the time.
Sometimes.
See you, buddy.
Good to see you, bud.
Take care, bud. Thanks a lot. That's Kyrie Zebair joining us. We're going to step back, and we're going to get to the Waldoos. Actually, we're not stepping back. We'll do Waldoos Warriors right now from the home expert team on Victoria Avenue, thanks to Paul Waldo and his gang. Okay, so this is where we pick the offensive, the defensive, and the special teams players of the game. So let's go for the BC Lions. I'm going to go with Eberhardt, the receiver, had a couple of touchdown receptions in the game. The first one was the great scramble by Nathan Rourke, throwing it to him. So he was the BC Lions offensive player of the game. Defensive player of the game, Mike Alway. Guy flies around, had the hellacious hit, the slobber knocker, as we like to say, smoking Kadeem Carey, who, by the way, showed some unbelievable toughness and grit walking off the field, refused to take the cart, which I thought was pretty interesting, and he gets the gritty award of the game. So offensive for BC, the Waldo Warrior was Eberhardt. We had Micah Alway on defense, and special teams-wise, Sean White hit his 26th field goal in a row, and timeless wonder there, Sean White. Offensively for the Riders, their Waldo Warrior, Trevor Harris. I mean, the guy threw for over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was surgical, as we like to say. By the way, thanks, Ward. Great BC Place background. That's my buddy Leander putting that up there in the background. Robert says, impressive win for the Riders. Yeah. Damian Alford, 100% going to be in the NFL next season. I'll talk about that, too, in a minute. Anyway, offensive player of the game, Waldo Warrior, Trevor Harris, for sure. If they can run the ball, protect Trevor Harris, Kai Iber might be right, unstoppable, okay? That's the offensive player of the game. Defensively for the Rough Riders, I'm going to give it to I'm going to give it to A.J. Allen. Milligan was flying around. Tavon Campbell in a return to the lineup. But A.J. Allen had the deflection on the Marcus Sayles interception, 2 knockdowns, 5 tackles. Really loved what A.J. Allen is evolving to in that will linebacker spot. And special teams, we got to go with McCray, the returner. I thought he attacked the ball strongly. Craig Dickinson, the special teams coordinator of the Stamps, former Riders head coach, always said, I want you to get a first down. When you return the ball, I want a 10 yards minimum, north and south. He attacked the ball, had some great pop in replacing Super Mario. He has some big shoes to fill, and I thought Dre McCray did a great job, number 86. But honorable mention to Brett Lothar, who even on this show, he said, should they bring in a kicker after last week's game against Calgary? He was a perfect 4 for 4 in BC Place with the roof open. So weather beautiful there, and Brett Lothar connects on his extra points and his field goal. So all's well that ends well there. Yeah, talking about Alford. Rob wants to know about Alford. I was at that game yesterday in Winnipeg, and I have to snicker at how many people are writing off the Blue Bombers already. Now, I have a vested interest because my kid's on the team or trying to get onto the active roster. And, I do have a vested interest. I bought some more Bomber stuff at the store. I'm a dad. I still look down at it. I still can't believe I'm wearing Blue Bomber stuff. But I will tell you, that is a very loud stadium. Very loud. Like, I used to scoff when they say they were the loudest fans, but I sat in the crowd for 2 games this year, and with that canopy and as loud as they get, very knowledgeable football crowd in Winnipeg, very loud, right there with Rider Nation, no doubt about it. Coin flip 1A and 1B. And right now, they're the best because everybody goes to the games there. They were mad. They were booing their team, no doubt about it. Prisoners of the moment, I would say to Bomber fans. Your team has been to the Grey Cup 5 years in a row. But I'm snickering at some of these people. Fans in Winnipeg, fans around the league. We've been calling for the Bombers' demise for years. Now, we'll have to see how bad Zach Collaros is hurt. Took a big shot in the midsection, snapped his head off the ground. I said when my son got picked by the Blue Bombers, I told you I would talk about all 9 teams, but one team would kind of be off limits, and you know which team that'll be. So I'm not going to go into what I know or what I don't know. But the Bombers lost their quarterback. Stanley Bryant didn't play. Dalton Schoen didn't play. I thought Collaros had the team in a position to win before he got hurt. Great game from Oliveira and Dembski, but that defense has some problems. They got some problems. Like, Winnipeg is not it's a very leaky boat right now. But it's a week-to-week league. First couple of weeks, Montreal's unbeatable. Winnipeg might be the second best team. Oh, is Calgary going to make the playoffs? It's a week-to-week league. So right now, Calgary beats Winnipeg handily. Beats Saskatchewan handily, beats Winnipeg handily. Right now, you'd say the Calgary Stampeders are the best team in the Canadian Football League. And then I'd say the Riders are number 2. But for people to write the Winnipeg Blue Bombers off, there was one reporter, and just because I'm going to save him the embarrassment of using his name, on X, he said, is this the end of Mike O'Shea's tenure? Is this the end of Mike O'Shea's tenure? He's been to 5 fucking Grey Cups in a row. Did you bang your head? Are you drunk? He's been to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, they lost to 2 backup quarterbacks. Yes, they've lost 3 in a row. To Cody Fajardo, McLeod Bethel Thompson, Chad Kelly, and Nick Arbuckle. I get it. 5 Grey Cups in a row. Who are you going to replace him with? I'll wait. Oh, you didn't come up with one? Okay, good. Like, what are you talking about? Like, people become prisoners of the moment and dumb, or just try to have hot takes for no reason. Just like the guy in Toronto that roams the sidelines. He has these real hot takes about the league, except he never tells you what he's going to do to fix the league. He just cuts down other people that have ideas on what to do with the league, calling them, I don't even know what he calls them. I don't even know the term he uses. I refuse to get into it with him online anymore because he's just looking for clicks. He's an immature teenager is what he is. Anyway. It's unbelievable how people are writing off the Blue Bombers. Last year, they were 0-4 and 2-6. Don't write the Bombers off yet. It's going to be interesting. Now, Calgary's in the driver's seat with Winnipeg because they beat them in the season series now. They play one more time. Calgary's in the driver's seat with Saskatchewan because they have a game up on them right now. Even though I don't know if that's the first tiebreaker, to be honest with you. Do we have another call, by the way? We do. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. I could very well see a scenario where Calgary finishes first and Saskatchewan and Winnipeg compete for second place in the West yet, depending on the health of Claros and if he can, like, whatever's wrong with him, I don't know. And if the Bombers can get back to some semblance of health. I think it's a little early. I like Kai's positivity there. It's a little early to say this. The Riders are going to win the Grey Cup, but he's fair to say that. I won't write off the Blue Bombers yet. The BC Lions, their defense is suspect. They can't really get much of a pass rush. Their secondary looks a little off. I like what Beaulieu's doing. Is it Carter Jr.? Has a great play and then gets burned. He's learning the game. Peter's still solid there. But yeah, BC's got a little bit of issues. And Edmonton, I don't know. Trey Ford always rises to the occasion, though, against the Riders. He looks like the second coming of Warren Moon when he plays the Riders. So don't think that's a free space in the bingo card next week against the Edmonton Elkamos as they come to town. Okay, let's get to our caller. Jacob wants to talk. Jacob, what do you want to say about the game, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm just really impressed with the Riders this year. I mean, I think this year could be the year for them. You know, I mean, I just think they're looking a lot better than they have in the past years. You know, they've had a lot of injuries, but guys are stepping up, and I think that that's what you need to win. You need depth in the lineup, and I think our receiving core is looking good.
Yeah,
Myers, you know, he's really stepped up this year. He was a backup for most of the year last year, and I think what's his name, Duncan Busby. He's looking really good this year. You know, a lot of developed players into the lineup this year. And, yeah, the O-line as well. They're looking really good. You know, they've obviously had lots of injuries and lost two great linemen at the start of the year. But, you know, guys are filling in. And its defense is also looking, you know, they're looking solid. So,
yeah, I was pretty impressed. I was pretty impressed today, Jacob, with how prepared they were. Like, I didn't want to be overly critical of them or Calgary last week because of what went on with that shit show with the delay because of smoke. But the Riders did get more criticism than Calgary because they were in their own beds. Calgary had to sleep in dorms. I thought Calgary overcame adversity much better than the Riders, but the Riders went on the road.
For sure.
This was a big-time win by the Rough Riders. Good job by Corey Mace having his team prepared, and you raised a really good point. The coach of the year right now in the CFL, assistant coach of the year, is Edwin Harrison. What he's done with that offensive line for the Riders, that is spectacular what he's done so far.
Oh, for sure. And definitely, I think Corey Mace has done a great job, you know, as a rookie head coach, just getting the guys prepared, you know, getting the guys motivated, you know, they want to play for him. I think he's you know, you didn't see that when Dickinson was the head coach, right? I mean, he's really come in and made the guys, you know, made the team overall better.
Yeah, I think in a lot of cases though, and that's nothing against you, Jacob, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm defending my friend Craig Dickinson, but Craig Dickinson was a pretty good coach in his first couple of years
yeah.
with the team when he had Chris Jones's players. Like, he had a lot of Chris Jones's players, and they had a pretty good team. The talent kind of diminished in 2 years after that, and now they've kind of restocked the shelves a little bit, and so things are starting to come around. The Riders have built some good depth with receivers. They've found they've found some moving parts. Kudos to O'Day and Carson with their finding their offensive line. And plugging guys in like that. So they do have a little bit of depth there. And they had some good veteran free agent signings. Like, they're going after it this year. So they've got a very good chance. And if they play like they did today, Jacob, they've got a good chance to be in the Grey Cup in Winnipeg and take over the Bombers dressing room, which would be nice for Rider Nation, wouldn't
sure.
it?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm hoping to make it to the game in November. So hope to see my Riders playing there for sure. And I also think that Calgary could be a big contender to win the West this year. I mean, based on against Winnipeg last night.
Oh, dude, they
really
look good. 96 Hutchings, the D lineman for Calgary, absolutely unblockable. Hicks, number 12, flying around out there. Moncrief looks like he's drinking from the fountain of youth once again. How about Vernon Adams Jr.
Yeah.
and that kid Damian Alford, 80, the receiver? He reminds you a little bit. I don't know how old you are, but he reminds you of Alan Pitts, number 18, who used to play for the Stampeders.
Oh, I was born in 06, so I don't know.
Oh, you missed that one. Well, way to make me feel old, Jacob. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the call, and I appreciate you checking out the show, okay?
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, make sure you call again and tell all your friends. Hey, Harris, They say Harris looks surgical. His performance is more impressive because he is mostly immobile. Yeah, that's from Ward. He is mostly immobile. But when nobody can touch you, he's unstoppable. Like, if they can't get him off his spot, he is unstoppable. At least it feels that way. Riders with an impressive victory. Yeah, so Calgary, right now, if I'm ranking your MOP candidates, Vernon Adams is the runaway leader right now. Your rookie of the year is Alford. So that's really why Calgary's propelled to a top of the charts right now. And this Hutchings kid, he might even be rookie of the year the way he's playing right now for Calgary. Tomorrow we've got Hamilton going up against Ottawa. Ottawa's got 2 starting corners out, and you know who's in his hotel room? I think it's in Ottawa. You know who's smiling like a butcher's dog right now? That would be Kenny Lawler. He's ready to go. He'll be ready to go. Him and Bo Levi Mitchell licking their chops. Right now, I'm 1-2 in Ballsy's best bets. I had Montreal winning. They had to come back in unbelievable fashion to beat Toronto, but Davis Alexander pops his hammy again, so he could be out. They'll probably keep him out a little longer. Might be a 4 to 6 weeker. That one could linger for the whole year. You've got... I had the Riders losing today to BC, so 1-1, and I had Winnipeg winning, so I'm 1-2. I got Hamilton tomorrow against... Actually, no, I got Ottawa tomorrow against Hamilton. I could have an 0-3 or a 1-3 week. So right now I came in 14-9 on the season. So 15-9, 15-11. Could go to 15-12 in the season for the Ballsy's best bets picks. We'll have 3 podcasts next week. Ballsy Uncut with more local sports talk, but skewing towards football. And we will also have our Balls Are Bigger post-game show following the Riders Elkimos game next Friday at Mosaic Stadium. Elkimos coming off a bye week, looking for their second win of the year, and the Rough Riders, of course, 5-1, sitting pretty atop the Western Division. For my buddy Leander, our producer behind the scenes, for all the great viewers and callers that check this out, hey, make sure you continue to check us out. The Our Balls Are Bigger post-game show. Tell all your friends after every Rider game we do this, and we take your calls. And, for Nicole and Dean Gerhardt Studios, where this show comes to you from on McCarra Street, thanks to them for getting on board and helping me out. And all my great sponsors, which would be Ward Tirecraft, Italian Star Daily, Payson Financial Services, JLB Electric, Waldo Warriors, and check this shirt out here. Can you see this? Can we see this? That would be Hammer Time Roofing. My buddy Kevin Welsh, his wife Chantel, they're a great crew over in Saskatoon. Get in the roofing game. You want to get in the roofing game with Chantel and Kevin, Hammer Time Roofing. Supplying our shirts, 262 Roof. And I never gave Paul a plug with his home expert team, 306-502-5355. Get in the real estate game with the home expert team at Victoria Avenue East. They will help you out. Final score once again, Rough Riders 33, BC Lions 27, Riders 3-0 on the road. It's an up week in Saskatchewan. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for catching the show. A reminder, the best form of promotion is word of mouth. So please tell everybody you know about this show. As we grow this show, we in turn help to grow the game we love, the 3-down game. Catch you next time.